This podcast has been brought to you by SeekersGuidance, the global Islamic seminary. Help us spread the light of prophetic guidance to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Make a small donation at SeekersGuidance.org/donate. For as little as $10 a month, you can help people find life-changing guidance.
There is another question, which is, how important is it to memorize the Quran? There is tremendous reward in memorizing the Quran. I remember when I was in Damascus, I really didn't want to go to a tajweed class, but Imam Zayd Shakir, he probably doesn't even remember this. He used to keep asking me, are you attending a tajweed class? I said, no. And I was pretty confident at that time about my tajweed. I was young, it wasn't. So he kept asking. So I said, no, I should. He was very subtle about it, but the instruction was clear. I went. I didn't want to do it. And the Shaykh, may Allah Shaykh Anas, may Allah preserve him, he had a small book on the rulings of tajweed. He said, read the opening section. And the first thing that caught my attention, that I remember, was on the virtues of the Quran, this hadith of the beloved Messenger ﷺ, that يُقَالُ لِصَاحِبِ الْقُرْآنِ, the person of Quran will be told, اقرأ وارقى, recite and rise. فَإِنَّ مَنْزِلَتَكَ عِنْدَ آخِرِ آيَةٍ تَقْرَأُهَا, for your rank will be at the last verse that you recite. And the ulama explain it from what you have memorized. And there's many other hadiths on the virtues of memorizing the Quran. So there's great merit in it, and it's a noble intent for oneself, but also to want one's children to recite the Quran. But reciting the Quran that is of consequence is reciting the Quran from a believing heart, so that you can appreciate what it is that you're reciting and the meanings of what you are reciting. So if you want to memorize the Quran, this is a very noble intent, right? But there's 4 things that you should take care of with that intention. The first is learn. As you learn how to recite the Quran and to correct your recitation before you memorize, learn the foundations of your religion. Like learn something equivalent to level 1 of the Seeker's Guidance Islamic Studies curriculum. Why? Because that way, when you study when verses come to you related to beliefs, you know something of the implications of what Allah is telling you when He says that truly Allah has power over all things. What does it really mean that Allah has knowledge over all things? When Allah tells us about this is divine destiny, what does that mean? When Allah calls us to have patience or gratitude or reliance or trust, or to leave backbiting, not to hold ill opinion, right? Where do we learn these things? This is what the Islamic sciences are for. They give us the keys to connect with the guidance of the Quran. So that's one thing, and that is deeply transformational. To learn the foundations of your religion as a means of connecting with the Book of Allah and the guidance of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's number 1. Number 2, before embarking on formal memorization of the Quran, correct your recitation. Correct your recitation. Find a reliable Quran teacher and correct your recitation. It doesn't take a lot, but sound recitation resonates with your heart, mind, and soul. Because that sound recitation mirrors the beauty of prophetic recitation, and it resonates. It resonates. And it fulfills the divine command and is beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So correct your recitation first. Second step is read the Quran with a teacher from beginning to end. So this is called tasheehul qira'ah. Right? And then memorize the Quran under a teacher. There's all kinds of fancy things. There's apps with artificial intelligence to help you memorize the Quran, etc. The sunnah of recitation is to recite the Quran to a living teacher. Because the Quran was revealed to a living heart. The heart of our beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as was transmitted to living hearts. Even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam reviewed the Quran with Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam, even though he did not need to. Right? And that living process, that is the connection all the way back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's a noble intention, but pursue it in the right way. There are people who memorize the whole Quran, but they still can't recite correctly. There's people who memorize the whole Quran, and according to some madhabs, you can't even pray behind them. There's one of the masajid in the greater Toronto area. There in Ramadan, and someone with many big titles, he was leading Taraweeh, and I walked away. I wouldn't tell anyone, I wouldn't create a fitna, but I walked away and prayed Taraweeh in another corner of the masjid, far away from the congregation. It's a large masjid. Because knowing a little bit of Shafi'i fiqh, I was sure that that recitation could not possibly be valid. It would put the prayer in question. It was such gross mispronunciation of the letters and other aspects. Right? So rather, anything, the Prophet ﷺ said, truly Allah loves that if any of you does anything, they do so with excellence. With excellence. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitate that for us and for you.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was brought to you by Seekers Guidance, the Global Islamic Seminary. Visit SeekersGuidance.org to access reliable Islamic knowledge taught by qualified teachers. We offer a wide range of courses, podcasts, articles, and a world-class answer service. Support us in spreading free, reliable Islamic knowledge to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Visit SeekersGuidance.org/donate and make a small monthly commitment today. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whoever guides someone to goodness will have a similar reward." So don't forget to share this podcast and spread prophetic guidance.